I listened to you when I was coming over, and I think at some point between 6:45 and 7, you discussed education in some bits, and it got me so agitated because honestly, even if you wanted someone to keep calm, there is no room for keeping calm. It is not okay to say that. Why do we not get it right always in education? Because I've been in this sector for 2 decades now, and have occupied spaces that have moved the sector to where it is now. And I can tell you that there is a certain time when we made progress in this country. So it is not true to say that why do we always get it wrong? No, we don't always get it wrong, because we got it right in 2003.
Okay.
When Kibaki was the president, and he made a decision that let every child come back to school.
Okay.
That man was coming from somewhere. That man was coming from a very solid understanding of what the philosophy behind education. And that man was coming from a global perspective. What are other nations doing in education? What did we agree in 1990 in Jomtien, Thailand? What did we agree in 2000 in Dakar? And you know very well that when agreements are made and countries sign these international treaties and agreements, they become part of our laws. And we are supposed to domesticate that. That is from where President Kibaki was coming from. And later on, his predecessor, President Uhuru Kenyatta, picked from there. He may not have done as phenomenal stuff, but one thing that we saw, he took the sector from where it was to a different level.
Okay.
Including sustaining whatever efforts that Mwai Kibaki had put in place. He tried to keep to that step.
Okay.
What do we have now?
What do we have now?
We have a reverse. Somebody who does not understand the philosophy of education, someone who is a profiteer, exists to make every decision that will add a shilling to his pocket. That is what we're having right now. And it is really painful to watch us go back to where we were even before President Kibaki came in. I ran Tunza Mtoto Coalition.
Yes.
And Tunza Mtoto Coalition is really a grassroots network. I interface with learners, parents, every morning. And by the special grace of God, learners in this country and parents in this country, when they are faced with a problem, they probably find me as a voice that they can talk to. And so every day I receive calls, I receive messages, and and I've been glad because when I speak like this, I know I'm above reproach. Because these are conversations I have had with the CS. These are conversations I have had with Kosgei, the chief of staff of State. I have had these conversations with them. And I have sat in task forces and we have had these conversations. And I'm telling you, right now as we speak, last week, Peter Kibukosi, I'm just giving you this for background.
It's fine.
So that then even our listeners can understand where exactly are we and what dangers are we faced with and where exactly is the problem. Because, the problem is not the Minister for Education. He has got nothing to do here. He's not aware why money is not being sent to school. And that is a fact. He has got nothing to do. But there's one man sitting in State House pulling every string. He decides what is going to be paid. He decides what is his profit. And we are operating from somebody who thinks that everything in this country should end up in his pocket or in his village.
Janet, are you saying that?
I am saying that.
Oh, you saying?
Let me tell you, let me rationalize for me why today we are having BTOC as a PS for education. What is the sector going through? We are going through CBC, all
CBE.
these transitions and all that. You know that? In my view, very humble view for that matter, I expected someone who at least is familiar with the sector to be the PS education. That's what I expected. But imagine that right now, when we were having all these conversations about CBC, this guy right now being the PS for education was an ambassador somewhere in Pakistan. Just when we want to do the implementation, he was the PS, immigrations and everything else. So remote to the sector. But you know what? The PS for education, the biggest spender of Kenya's budget, has to come from Rift Valley.
Let's put
That is the criteria. That is the only criteria that we are applying. And that is why we refuse to have conversations with people who are pretending to have conversations with people, but they are mapping out places for where they want to eat. And they have no intention whatsoever to do the right thing. Let me tell you, Why are we changing from NEMIS to KEMIS today? Who are the business people? Who are the owners of KEMIS? And why do we need to change for Christ's sake when the sector is going through so much reforms? Is this the time for introducing something new? Who said that we must change everything? You come in, you decide university funding is not working. We ask you, what in God's name was not working so that you decided to change to the new funding model? What was not working? Everything was working apart from the fact that you did not have an opportunity to eat.
Let me add
so
something
you decide to pretend you're changing so that you can create a gap for you to get your hands into our coffers. It is not acceptable.